Hello everyone, welcome to Everything Arsenal, back with another live show as usual. A lot to discuss today. We have updates on Eberechi Eze. We have an update on Rodrygo, Leandro, Trossard, as well as Lookman. A lot of people have been asking about Lookman. I would absolutely love Lookman at Arsenal as well. There's an update on him. Rafael, could he be the alternative to Eze and Lookman? And then also a few departures. Yesterday we played against Villarreal, and we saw a lot of players didn't play. Someone like a Lokonga was on the bench, but he didn't get any minutes. Nelson wasn't even on the bench yesterday. Karl Hein, there's news on him as well. So we're expecting a few departures as well. I mean, Fabio Vieira as well wasn't in the team at all. So all those guys are expected to depart very soon. So we'll discuss all of that. But first, let's start with Eberechi Eze. And according to Steve K, he says Arsenal bid for Eze imminent, but Vieira sale crucial. So he basically says we are going to need to sell Vieira to buy Eze. Now, it depends on how much money you're going to get for Vieira. I don't personally think you're going to get that much money. If you can get more than at least 25 million, that would be very crucial. That would be very big for us, because that would mean like maybe a 9 million loss because of how much we bought him for. It wouldn't be such a big loss after 3-4 seasons. But are we going to actually get that money for Fabio Vieira? That is the question. Are we going to be able to sell him for that much? Which other teams are going to come in for him? At the moment, it's only Stuttgart that have inquired about him, as David Ornstein told us last week or early this week, that Stuttgart a link to Fabio Vieira, but we haven't really heard about any other team that are ready to pay for Fabio Vieira. But I still believe he is going to leave. So if that transfer is connected to Eze, then we obviously need to get it done quick. Now, in terms of the article, they say that we are told that the Gunners are currently prioritizing the departure of Portugal international in order to have more financial leeway in their pursuit of Eze. Talks with Stuttgart over a permanent deal are ongoing, with the Bundesliga side looking to bring in a replacement for Enzo Milot. Sources have confirmed reports from Germany that Stuttgart are looking to pay 20 million euros for the 25-year-old. So they're only willing to pay 20 million euros only. So that is like 16 million pounds. So that's quite low. They go on to say that Arsenal's initial price tag is likely to be more than this, but all parties appear keen to get a deal done quickly. The North London agency stems for the fact that they would ideally like to get a deal for Eze in place this week. The England star too is keen to become an Arsenal player as soon as possible. Eze wants clarity on his future before Sunday's Community Shield clash with Premier League champions Liverpool. So Crystal Palace are playing against Liverpool on the weekend, Community Shield, and Eze wants his future decided by then. So how many days do we have? Today is Thursday, so just a couple of days before the weekend. We're going to have to move very quickly in terms of that. We have to talk to Crystal Palace regarding Eze and him not playing the Community Shield. It's Eze himself who does not want to play the Community Shield. He wants his future sorted before the Community Shield. They also go on to say that once Vieira's exit is closer to being sorted, Arsenal will make their opening bid for Eze. As Football Transfers revealed, the Gunners are looking to submit a first offer in the region of 60 million euros, or around 50 million pounds. If Arsenal can manage to find common ground with Palace this week, Eze is not expected to feature on Sunday. The North London club are confident of agreeing a deal for the 27-year-old. However, the next few days are going to be crucial in determining whether or not Eze will be a Gunners player come the end of the window. They also go on to say he is keen on the move, but he's not actively trying to force through a transfer and could remain at Palace if no agreement is reached. Mikel Arteta said that he wants to balance his squad, and Eze would do exactly that, being able to provide cover on the left wing as well as the number 10. He could be Arsenal's final piece of the puzzle. So Eze is not like the Mosquera situation or the Gyokeres situation. Those players 100% wanted to leave their clubs to come to Arsenal. Eze is not the same. Eze has agreed to join Arsenal. He's happy to join Arsenal, but he's also okay with staying at Crystal Palace. So if no one really pushes for the move, Eze is absolutely okay with them staying at Crystal Palace, whether it's until January, whether it's until next season, one more season. He has no problem with that. So he's not forcing a move and refusing to train and refusing to play. No, he's featured in all their preseason games. He is training. He is still working hard. So it's not like refusing to play completely, not at all. So for him, you have to show him that you really, really want him to try and get that move done. So they're saying that Vieira's move is connected to this, that we'll need to sell Vieira first to try and get Eze. So let's see if we can finalize the Fabio Vieira move to Stuttgart, because that's the only team that want him right now, unless Arsenal are keen on waiting for other teams to be linked to Vieira, depending on how much money we can get. Man, we always struggle to sell players. Let's hope Andrea Bata can change that for us, because it's been one thing that we've always struggled to do for years and years and years. There's a time Aaron Ramsey had scored 2 FA Cup winning goals for us, and he left Arsenal for free. So we need to sort that one out. This thing of losing players on a free and getting only 10 million for them, and other teams are able to get 60, 70 million for their players, it's not that great. Now, that is the latest on Eze. Speaking of players potentially leaving Arsenal, let's talk about Rodrygo first, because this is also connected to the left wing. Arsenal are waiting to see if Real Madrid will sanction a loan deal for Rodrygo this summer. A loan deal, I never thought about that. I never thought about a loan deal. I don't think you're going to sign Rodrygo in a permanent deal, 80, 85 million euros, something like that, plus give him 300,000 per week wages. I personally don't think that is going to happen. And I don't think Rodrygo really, really wants to leave Real Madrid. Though, it looks like he really loves Madrid and he would like to stay there. But next year, there's a World Cup, and Brazil have a lot of players who are shining, including players like Rafinha, who are playing in the same position with Rodrygo. So if Rodrygo wants to go and start for them, he has to find a way to go ahead of Vinicius, go ahead of Rafinha, and all those guys who are playing in the winger positions for Brazil. So he might not want to leave Real Madrid, but could a loan deal be possible for him for 1 year and then, shine on a loan deal, get picked for the World Cup and go back to your team? That is what Gary Jacobs says. Arsenal are waiting to see if Real Madrid will sanction a loan deal for Rodrygo this summer. Now, will Arsenal be happy with getting Rodrygo on a loan? Would you guys be happy getting Rodrygo on a loan deal? I mean, this kind of loan deals would not be a free loan deal. I think this kind of loan deal, you'd still have to pay a little bit of money, maybe a 12, 15 million loan deal. For a player like this, it's not going to be, zero. No, you're going to have to pay for the loan deal, and his wages are going to be high. So in terms of that, you'll have to agree whether you're going to pay half or you're going to pay 80% and Madrid 20%, depending on how much he wants. All that has to come into the conversation. Now, getting Rodrygo is not going to be easy. I do not think getting Rodrygo is going to be easy, especially if he becomes available on a loan deal. Then it's not going to be Arsenal only that want him. You might hear Liverpool, Bayern, Liverpool and Arsenal all wanted Rodrygo, and then all of them went quiet because of the Rodrygo doesn't look like he wants to leave Real Madrid. But you've also been told before that PSG would want him, Man City would want him, and there's another team as well. Like, this is not just even the teams from Saudi Arabia already wanted Rodrygo, so it's not going to be an easy deal to do, even if you're trying to get him on a loan deal. But let's see if Arsenal are interested in getting him in a loan deal. The last couple of seasons, we've been able to get players last minute on a loan deal, including Raheem Sterling. So maybe this year it's Rodrygo. That would be way different from Raheem Sterling. So let's see if we can get this player on loan if he wants to actually leave Real Madrid, if he wants to actually get game time. Let's see. So that is what Gary Jacobs is reporting on Rodrygo. This one is a very tough one. I remember back in June saying, yes, we want Rodrygo. Yes, we want Nico Williams, but you need to also, be linked to different players, because we are not 100% sure if Rodrygo and Nico Williams want to leave their teams. We're actually playing against Nico Williams this weekend as well. Both of those guys, you cannot just have them as your main targets and the only targets, because it doesn't really seem like they want to leave Spain, and it's a bit of a wasting of time if you just link to Nico Williams, link to Rodrygo. You have to have other targets. So that's the latest on Rodrygo. The loan deal option has emerged today. Let's see if that is a possibility. Now, Leandro Trossard. Gary Jacobs has also given us an update on Leandro Trossard. Leandro Trossard is available for sale this summer. So every single day, it's looking very likely that Trossard is the one that is going to leave. Martinelli is not going to leave. How much are you going to end up getting for Trossard? Trossard is currently injured. I'm still not too keen, to be honest, to sell Trossard, especially if you're not replacing him. I don't want us to find ourselves in that situation again. Last season, we let go of Nketiah, Smith-Rowe, Reece Nelson without replacing any of them. Trossard has had a better impact as of the last 2 seasons than any of those players, the Nketiahs and the Nelsons and the Smith-Rowe. So Trossard has had a season of 17 goals, had a season of more than 10 assists in half a season. Last season was not great for anyone. So am I really keen on letting him go? And I know he can come off the bench and score some crucial goals and not replace him. That's even the worst part. Like, selling Trossard and then not bringing in anyone. That would be a problem. If you're bringing on Rodrygo for that loan deal and then you let go of Trossard, maybe that is different, Maybe if you have another winger in mind that you're going to talk about in this one, maybe you can let them go. You can let Trossard go and then bring those players. But as of now, it's looking like, it is Trossard going and not replacing him. Now, that is a bad idea. If you're letting go of Trossard and not replacing him, not at all. Martinelli is not going anywhere. Martinelli is going to be here next season. We saw Madueke coming on at left wing yesterday. And if we sign Eze, that is 3 players who can play on the left wing. Maybe Trossard would be the 4th option. But at the moment today, if Trossard is fit, Trossard is ahead of Martinelli. If I was being asked to have a lineup for next week, I would have Trossard on the left wing and Martinelli on the bench. That is how it would be. I think most of you would agree. But will Trossard be an Arsenal player by then? Will Madueke start that game instead? Will Trossard be fit by then? We have to wait for all that. But Gary Jacobs says that he is available for sale this summer. So is it a case of Arsenal just waiting to see how much money we're going to get for him? To see whether they're going to let him go or they're actually keen on selling him, whether it's even 15 to 20 million. Now he only has 1 year remaining on his contract. You have to remind ourselves that. So it's either you sell him right now, you sell him in January, or you lose him for free next season if he stays, or you give him a new contract right now. So a 1 year deal or something. But if a better offer comes in for Trossard, I'm sure he'd be willing to take those offers because he's 30 years of age. If a team comes in and offers him a 4-year contract and Arsenal only offer him a 1 year contract, then he can definitely move on to a different team and enjoy the last the tail end of his career. That's what he can do. So let's see if how the Trossard one builds up, because today is 7th of August. We haven't really sold anyone up to now, really. I mean, the players that left on their contracts expired, the likes of Tierney. We haven't really sold anyone. We still have players that have been discussed as potential sales that we're going to also talk about in this one. So that's the latest on Eze, Rodrygo, and Trossard, and the left wing situation and the left side situation. Now, I do think we're going to only sign one more player this transfer window. That is what I'm thinking. We've been linked to Jeremy Jacquet, the defender, and we've also been linked to a couple of other players. And according to reports, Arteta wants more than one player. So Gary Jacobs also goes on to say, Mikel Arteta still wants Arsenal to sign a direct left winger and potentially a creative midfielder. So those are 2 players. That is not one player. That is Eze and someone else. So that is what Gary Jacobs says. Arteta still wants a direct left winger and potential creative midfielder. That will take it to 8 signings from 6. I thought you're only going to get one player. I still think you're going to get one player, and unless something dramatically changes and we end up selling 3-4 players and we end up signing 2 players. I mean, preferably you'd want these players in before the first game of the season, but could we actually end up getting, more than one player after the season has already started, bet them in between, now in the first international break or whatever, to try and get them, initiated to the team, basically. Could be a possibility, but I guess it depends on how much money we have. But the fact that we've only heard about Eze only the last 2 weeks, I don't know. I mean, now we are hearing about a potential loan deal for Rodrygo. Maybe that is a possibility. We are hearing that if Trossard and Fabio Vieira both leave, we could actually go for someone. Because I'm also thinking, because there's no way you're going to let Trossard go and not buy a replacement. That would be crazy. You cannot let go of Trossard and not get a replacement. So if Eze is not that replacement, that means you're going for another left winger. Now, the left winger does not have to be an 80 million pound player. There's other wingers who are going to cost you 10 million, 50 million. So could that be the case if it's not a Rodrygo loan deal? Or could it be, we are hearing about Lookman today. So the Sun, admittedly not the best of sources, but the Sun, Jordan Davis has had a couple of good things this transfer window. Sunspot understands Arsenal are keeping tabs on Ademola Lookman's situation should they miss out on other targets, including Eberechi Eze. So Jordan Davis, he's saying if we don't get Eze, that's how we are going to get Lookman. But Gary Jacobs says Arteta wants both of those positions, a creative midfielder and a left winger. A move for Lookman would also come into play should Leandro Trossard leave this summer. So if we don't get Eze, we might go for Lookman. But also if Trossard leaves, we might still go for Lookman, even if you're still going for Eze. So that kind of is the same thing that Gary Jacobs says at that latter part. Atalanta want at least £45 million. Now, when it comes to money, compared to all the other players that have been leaving their teams, I've been seeing some crazy fees, man. Luis Diaz has gone to Saudi Arabia, not to Bayern Munich. Luis Diaz has gone to Bayern Munich for a lot of money. Nunes from Liverpool has gone to Saudi Arabia for a lot of money. Actually, let's just even talk about the wingers only. Players like Luis Diaz, players like Madueke, all these players, Elanga, they've all gone for crazy money. So if you're able to get Lookman for 45 million, he already has Premier League experience. Now, he didn't have the best of times at Fulham, but I remember him breaking through when he was a kid at Everton. He's been in the Premier League before with a couple of teams, so he does have that Premier League experience. He wants to leave Atalanta. Inter Milan are still not yet able to get him. Inter Milan wanted him. He actually handed in a transfer request the other day. He said, I want to leave. He thanked the fans. He said, I want a new challenge. I think he's 27 years of age at the moment, and it's only Inter Milan at the moment that are trying to sign him. I've not heard about any other team that are trying to sign Ademola Lookman. So for 45 million, is he worth it? I think he is worth that kind of money. Now, if you look at his numbers last season, he played 40 games, he scored 20 goals and 7 assists. So 27 goal contributions in 40 games. And in those 40 games, he played 2,871 minutes. Now, he also played 29 games as a second striker. So behind the striker, he played 29 games. And then he also played as a center forward 7 times. He actually only played on the left wing a couple of times. He was mainly like a second striker. Atalanta have a lot of attacking players. But if you look at the previous season again, you'll find a season where he played, more games as a left winger, some games as a right winger. So the 23-24 season, he played 45 games, 2,800 minutes. And this time he had 17 goals and 10 assists. So 27 goal contributions. His numbers have been very good the last 3 seasons, and he's very flexible and very versatile in terms of positions on the pitch. 21 times as a second striker, 15 times as a center forward, 6 times as a left winger. He has played as a right winger as well. So for 45 million, for right now, should be his prime, is 27 years of age. He's turning 28 later this year. I mean, for a 3-year deal, 4-year deal, 45 million, I would be taking Lookman for sure. I mean, Rodrygo is 80, 90 million. Lookman is 45 million. All the other wingers that have been sold, I mean, we've bought Madueke for 52 million. Newcastle have bought Elanga for 50 million. All these players are being sold for a lot of money, all the wingers. So if you can get Lookman for that cheap, I'll try and do it. Now, let's see how it develops. We were told before that Andrea Bata talked to all of these wingers at the beginning of the transfer window to try and find out which one is the easier deal to do. At that point, he talked to Nico Williams, to Gordon, to Rodrygo, to Lookman. We were told as well he talked to, who am I forgetting? There's one other player, and this guy as well, Rafa Leao. Now, according to Ben Jacobs, he says while Rafa Leao is in love with AC Milan, with the club having no European football, they are willing to sell to fund their transfer window. So are we talking about the same price as Ademola Lookman? AC Milan would be happy to let him go because they don't have any European football at all, which is crazy, AC Milan not having any European football. I know a lot of you want Rafa Leao as well. I mean, I would take any of these guys very quickly. The way they played, the way we saw Daumann playing yesterday, the way you can just take on players, I wish we had that on the left side. And I think Lookman and Leao would definitely do that. In terms of going past players every single time, both of these players would do that for you. So I'd be very happy if you can get any of these guys. If Ben Jacobs is correct, no, Ben Jacobs, they have the same name. If Gary Jacobs is right in terms of Arteta wanting both a left wing and an attacking midfielder, and then the Sun also reporting that, we are interested in Lookman, and, Ben Jacobs saying, I mean, he hasn't directly said Arsenal want him, but you were told before that Arsenal spoke to all of these wingers. If he becomes available, is he a possibility? Let's see. I'm surprised that no one has really gone in for him. I thought like players like Leao, if they're made available, a lot of teams would go in for him. but literally I've not had any team wanting Liao, and not too many teams wanting Lookman. I don't know why. It could be things with wages. Maybe they want a lot of money per week and all that, and teams are not ready to pay that. So that is surprising. But we want both positions. We've talked about Eze, we've talked about Lookman, we've talked about Liao as well. Can we get? Imagine if we get two of those players. Our left side is struggling. We watched again yesterday, playing against Villarreal yesterday. Whenever the ball goes to the right side, something is happening right away. Max Dauman, even if it's 10 minutes on the pitch, we get a penalty from that side right away. Nwaneri on that right side, something is happening. Saka is getting past his player. Like a lot of things, all those players are playing on the right side. But on the left side, now even with the injuries on top of that, it is only Martinelli. And once again, I think he was better than the Tottenham game, but still he was not, on the level that we want him to be. Now, if he's not on that level, it's a problem because our left side has kind of struggled since Jacquet has left, and we've not really replaced that side a lot. Declan Rice has been good. I personally don't mind Rice playing as a 6 or an 8, as a 10, whatever. Rice is good wherever a place is playing on the pitch. He's just been nominated for the Ballon d'Or as well. Today, Declan Rice, that is how good he is. I don't mind wherever he's playing on the pitch. But in terms of, because Rice is not like an out-and-out attacker, and if your left wing is also not performing and not scoring goals and not assisting, then that is a problem because, we don't have the Zinchenko getting into midfield and all that. Lewis Kelly is doing his job defensively, so we are really lacking in terms of attacking play. So Lewis Kelly overlapping a couple of times last time, but if he's also getting into midfield and Martinelli is playing as a touchline wing and there's no one else to support him on that side and he's already struggling, that we need something else there. Maybe if you sign a player like Eze, maybe Eze unlocks Martinelli on that side. Maybe the way Odegaard, plays with Ben White and Saka on the right side over the last 2 seasons, especially 2 seasons ago, they were very good together. Maybe Martinelli needs someone like that. Maybe Odegaard needs to play on the left side, even if you sign Eze, because I've seen Odegaard delivering from the left side. Remember when he played Luton and we scored in the last minute, Declan Rice header? Odegaard was on the left side with that cross. I remember Champions League against FC Porto when Trossard scored his goal at home. It was Odegaard assisting him on the left side as well. And there's been a few times where Odegaard has, even in the Champions League, the first time in the Champions League 2 years ago, or first time in a lot of years, not the first time, Odegaard was scoring goals against PSV from the left side, from the middle part, not really on the right side. So maybe it's time to, if you're not changing the entire tactic board and whatever, maybe switch a few things here and there. Maybe, move Odegaard to the left side to help him out with the through passes to Martinelli and all that. Now, again, I watched Martinelli a lot yesterday. I went and rewatched that game, one player at a time, and checked the highlights as well of individual players. And there's a couple of times where Martinelli was trying to make a through, like a run in behind the defense, but there was no one who was passing him the ball. So maybe that is his strength. He wants to run in behind like he did against Real Madrid, like he did against Sevilla. He wants to run in behind one-on-one against the goalkeeper, but he never really gets those opportunities because maybe you don't get that much space. But even if you get that space, no one is really picking up that pass for him on the left side. That could be a case as well. So he's going to be here next season. Martinelli is not going to be sold. So we have to find a solution. He's not going to be on the bench until May. He's going to play some games. He's going to start Premier League games. He's going to start against the Liverpool and Man City. So how can we, make sure that he's playing better than what he is right now? He's not a touchline wing. He's not a winger supposed to be close to the touchline trying to dribble past players. That is not his game. So we need to find a way to get him through one-on-one, get him those passes from Odegaard and Zubimendi, maybe move Odegaard to the left side if you sign another player. Maybe even if you don't sign another player, if Nwaneri is playing on the right side, maybe you can move Odegaard on the left side for that particular game. Just something to try and unlock him. And if you try all of that and Martinelli is still getting chances and missing and all that, then there's nothing much more that you can do from that. But as of now, you just have to try something different. But let's see how it goes. Now, departures. Karl Hein. Rangers have joined the race for Arsenal goalkeeper Karl Hein, who spent last season on loan at Real Valladolid. I'm shocked they didn't try to sign him because Karl Hein was really good for Valladolid last season. I thought we were going to be getting at least 20 million for him. Again, how are we not able to get good money for this kind of players? Chelsea are selling like their 4th, 5th choice goalkeepers for like 20 million. Sevilla are also in the mix. So Karl-Heinz is definitely going to move away. I mean, right now we have Ryan, Kepa, and even Setford is Atache's goalkeeper, and he's not really getting a lot of opportunities to play anyway. So the fourth choice in Karl-Heinz will not really get an opportunity. Now, he starts games for his country as well, Estonia, so we should be getting a bit of money for him, but he hasn't been in the team at all. I haven't even seen him in and around London Colony at all, any pictures of him, so he's not been around at all. So this guy is definitely going to leave, but I don't want another loan deal. Another loan deal for Karl-Heinz does not really help us. Let's try and sell him, and if you can get good money for him, that would really help. You know, if you pull even 15 million for Karl-Heinz, I'd be very happy. How old is Karl-Heinz? I've never even checked that. I feel like he's been at Arsenal for like 10 years or something. Karl-Heinz, 2002, so he's not old. He's 23. I thought he was slightly older than that. 23. Yeah, he's been at Arsenal since 2018. He's been here for a long time. That's almost, next year is 8 years at Arsenal. That's interesting. So he's been here since he was basically a youngster. 2018. Yeah, he joined us very, very young. He was 16 when he joined us. So he hasn't really gotten any opportunities. He's never even played a game for us, has he? Maybe a Carabao Cup game or something, but I don't think he's played more than one game for us. League game, definitely not, nothing like that. So he's definitely going to leave. We've already talked about Fabio Vieira. He's also going to leave. We're waiting to see how much we're going to get for him. There's no news on Nelson today, but because he wasn't in the team yesterday at all, even with Trossard being injured, Nelson was still not in the team. He's definitely going to move on. So let's see how quickly Fulham can get a deal finalized for him. So those will be three players. Lokonga did not play at all yesterday. He was on the bench. He was one of the few players that didn't come off the bench as well. I mean, players like Merino played 90 minutes despite players like Lokonga being on the bench. So we are not going to use Lokonga. We didn't even bring him on for 1 minute the whole of preseason. So Lokonga is definitely going to leave. That will be the fourth player. Zinchenko, it's a 50-50. I don't know where we stand with Zinchenko at the moment. Maybe because of the injuries, we might end up keeping him. Maybe you're waiting for a team to make a good offer for him. But let's see. Zinchenko is a 50-50. The others will definitely leave. Zinchenko is a 50-50. Trossard is a 50-50 as well. Let's see what happens with them. But between now and the end of the transfer window, we might actually end up selling 6-7 players, whether it's a permanent deal or a loan deal. Let's see how it goes. So that's the latest today. Eze, Rodrygo, Trossard, Atuta's targets, Lookman, Leao, Karl-Heinz, and also the other departures that we might end up making. So let me come to you guys. Comment. Thank you for the super chat, RK. She says, thanks for the live stream, Glenn. Thank you for watching. Thank you for the support as always. I appreciate it. Let's see. And thank you for being a member as well. I'm doing good. Golden says, really love you, Glad. Thank you, Golden. I know yesterday we were, arguing about the game and all that, but it's great to have debates and all that. We need a prolific player. Lookman is fantastic. Eze is fantastic. Rafael is fantastic. I would take any of them so quickly, man. Like, you 100% improve our left side so quickly. Ayomide says, great job, Glenn. Thank you for watching. Emmanuel says, hi, Glenn. Thank you for the update. We need Eze and Rodrygo. I'm watching you live from Liberia. Thank you for watching, Emmanuel. Emodi says, I'm watching from Nigeria. Good work. Thank you. Up the Gunners from Nigeria says, Madiba. Ayobami says, Man United have signed Benjamin Sesko, so we need a good winger. I'm not looking at what Man United are doing. But yeah, that first game is not going to be easy. We need to be ready for that. So if you're looking at it like that, we definitely need to be ready. But I don't think the team is looking at it like, oh my goodness, Man United have signed Sesko. We need to go and sign Eze quickly. No, but we obviously can't underestimate that game. I still expect us to win it, but we can't go into that game thinking we are going to beat them 3-0. And just imagine losing to Man United first game. That would be very painful. First game, we've never played them in the first game. So losing to them in the first game, we have to go there ready. We also don't have a good record at Old Trafford. I know we've won there like 3 times. The Trossard one, the Aubameyang one, and the Adebayo one. That's the only games we've won there since I started supporting Arsenal. Before then, I know Will Todd scored there, and Overmars scored there. So I think that is like 5 wins in total in Premier League history at United. We've never even, all those wins, fun enough, have been 1-0. We've never really gone to United and beaten them 3-1 or something. Nah, we have a terrible record there. So let's hope we can start this season well. We should try and get Eze so he can help us handle the left side. Martinelli is giving us headaches. Ali says Martinelli should be sold. Even if Arsenal wanted to sell him, though, it depends on which teams are coming in for him. So up until today, it's only a Saudi Arabia team that said Al Nassr that they wanted Martinelli. We haven't had any European team that want Martinelli. Now, maybe that is a concern in itself that not too many teams want him. And how much money would they pay for him? If someone offered 45 million or 50 million, Arsenal would not sell him at all. Even if Arsenal wanted to sell him, Arsenal would want like 70 million for Martinelli. So is there anyone who'd come and pay 70 million for Martinelli right now? Probably not. Arsenal should complete the summer transfer into the signing of Eze and Leao, says Lawrence. How are you, Musa? Thank you for being here as always. Good evening. I'm doing good. Let's see. Steven says, Glenn, do you know what by December we'll definitely go home if we can't use the right players? I mean, I don't think so. I think there's a time David Ornstein told us that things would need to go really badly at Arsenal before they consider sacking Arteta. So even if we were 5th in December, he'd still not be sacked. That is what David Ornstein said. So things would have to go really bad. So what is really bad? Probably out of the Carabao Cup, maybe out of the Champions League phase, don't qualify to the knockout stage. Maybe Arsenal is 7th. That is bad. They're not going to sack him, even if you're not first or second, and we're like third. It's not going to. They're not going to sack him. Now, is there a possibility Arteta could decide to walk out? Maybe, but I don't know. Probably not. So I don't expect Arteta to be sacked unless things really, really get bad. Like I'm talking 2021, 2022 bad, where we lose 5 games in a row and stuff like that. Let's see. Arsenal should sell Martinelli and get Eze or Lookman, says Colapo. Carter says left wing and Lookman is all good as Eberechi Eze. Let's see. Erimai says, Glenn, yesterday saw on Twitter at night that Saudi clubs have put a bid for Martinelli. Nah, not really. Arsenal already said Martinelli is not for sale. Signing is not a matter of maybe. We definitely need him very well, and Arsenal need to sign. Yeah, I also don't think it's supposed to be a maybe. It has to be. We have to improve the left side. My fear is that we usually leave ourselves short every single transfer window. You know, there's times where we sign Ozil and you're like, this is good. And then we don't sign a goalkeeper. And then one time we sign, Vermaelen, and the next one we sign Koscielny. And then you're like, okay, what about a fullback? We don't sign anyone. And then another time we sign players like Alexis Sanchez, but we don't sign a right winger. There's no one there to help them. So we always leave ourselves short, at least in terms of not signing a goalkeeper, or signing a defender, or signing a midfielder. How long did we wait until we replaced, Vieira and Diaby and those guys? We were asking for midfielders when he had all these good players, Ozil, Cazorla, Sanchez. We didn't have a defensive midfielder. That's how it goes. So I'm a little bit scared that we could do such a good transfer into the Gyokeres in and Zubimendi, and then we leave one player, not sign Eze. I would not be happy that we need someone else up front. We needed 3 attackers. We signed 2. We need 1 more. Victor says, for those who are saying Martinelli is supposed to be sold, they don't understand why Martinelli is not shining. Take a look at Skelly. Is a good player, but he never supports Martinelli for overlapping. For that, the way we play, it's not Lewis Skelly. That's how we play. Lewis Skelly is not asked to overlap. He's asked to get into the midfield. Again, I'd like to see that. Let's see if he gets an Eze and he gets an overlapping. Calafiori would probably overlap him, but Calafiori and Lewis Skelly are different kind of players. And Lewis Skelly is the one who's going to start right now. So we have to find a different way to play Martinelli. It's not going to be sold. It's going to be here. So we're going to have to find a way. Get Rodrygo if it's a loan deal, says Michael. Good afternoon, Amida. Let's see. Madison says we can't continue playing Odegaard in every match, so we should bring Eze and Leao, not bringing Eze just because he can play as an attacking midfield and left flank. I guess you mean bring Eze just because he can play as attacking midfield and left flank, or not bringing Eze. Okay, you also see him as a number 10. I guess that is what you mean. Eze Lookman should get one of them if possible. The 2, I would love the 2, man. If you get an attacking midfielder and the left winger, that would be great. But let's see. We are like 4 weeks, or less than 4 weeks until the transfer window closes. Emmanuel says, I don't care if we lose 5-0 to Villarreal, but Man United will pay for the loss. Let's hope so. The results don't matter in preseason. It's just the performances and getting players fit and getting the combinations going. But yeah, losing to Man United would be different. If we lose to Man United, that would definitely feel that. We really need Eze and Leao. Lookman says Abdul Salam. We need a real left winger, says Conte, like Leao. Like if you get a player like that, man, the right side is so good. I'm seeing Dauman and Noni getting past players, nutmegging players for fun, but on the left side we don't have anything like that. So we need to definitely improve on that. RK says, please subscribe and smash the like button. Thank you, RK. Let's see. Arsenal should go for Lookman if Rodrygo loan deal fails. So says June. I think we should already be trying Lookman. I think the Lookman one is easier than the Rodrygo one already. So you need to try to get that one done. So I appreciate you guys watching. That's the latest. We've talked about a lot of players today. We have another game on Saturday. So the preview of that is coming out. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch up with you on the next one.